Okay, this took like 20 minutes to set up. It's ridiculous. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start. All right, so uh, hi, my name is Agnes, and I'm going to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. Okay, so I have the questions on my phone, so I'm going to use that. First question is, why did you start this channel? Um, because I don't have anybody to talk about books with, and I'm trying to get more into reading constantly this year. Last year I read 15 books, and I realized that I was very happy because I think it's the most books I've read in a consistent year. So I wanted to be able to share that with people. Question two says, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? I don't know. I don't know. Um, there are so many people who are already on YouTube. There's so many people who are already on BookTube. I don't know. Um, I think I'm a person who tries to plan out the books I'm going to read, and I know there are some people who do that. So I'll see if I can be one of those consistent people, but I honestly I do not know. Because I never even thought I would ever make a YouTube channel. So, question three says, what are you most excited about for your channel? Making a making a record of the books that I read and finally being able to put my thoughts into words. I'm not a person who posts reviews online. Uh, I just don't ever really feel like I can consistently put my feelings about books into words, but it's something I want to try more of. So let's see. Also, hoping that I can get responses from people on BookTube that I actually like and finding more friends. So next question is, why do you love reading? I don't know. I've always liked reading. Uh, um, it's just something I've always been skilled at, and even when I was in college, it was always something that I could find comfort in when everything was kind of, frustrating or whatever. Reading would always be an escape, and I think a lot of people can relate to things like that. So that's why I like reading. Um, I've always been good at it, and it's always been something that has never really let me down. Even the bad books, um, they've never really let me down. Question five says, what book series got you into reading? I think earliest book series that I remember reading was maybe Junie B. Jones. Um, and the more popular one would probably be Harry Potter, but uh but I was definitely reading before I started reading Harry Potter. I don't think I started reading the books until I was maybe in 6th grade, honestly 5th or 6th grade, so I was reading way before then anyway. So it's very hard to pinpoint a book series that got me into reading because I was reading before before I even really realized. Um, so I don't know. It's really difficult. Um, I think I mainly read either like, the early lit books or standalones. Okay, so question six says, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? How do you read so quickly? And if you're not a person who reads quickly, do you ever feel like you are left behind if you are not a person who reads like 30 books in a month or something like that? because I've always found it very surprising when people said that they read like, like 300 something page book in a day, because they're fast readers. Like, I can't. So I would like to ask my favorite booktubers that. I'd like to ask them really, really, what is their most controversial book opinion? Seriously, like no disclaimers, like no disclaimers, no disclaimers type video. Because I'm messy. So number 7 says, what challenges will be the hardest with booktube? Getting over stage fright, because even though I'm alone in my room, I'm going to be uploading this, and it's very strange because this is my first time actually talking to a potential audience and not just to my dog. So it's kind of awkward, and I feel like I keep looking at like myself rather than the actual viewfinder. So I think that's also going to be a big challenge. I think also getting my thoughts together without stuttering so much because like I said, I'm not used to talking to people about books that I like. I'm used to just talking to my dog about it or whatever. So yeah. Next one says, when did you start reading? I don't know, birth. I was never a person who I'm one of those people who never remembered when I started learning reading. When I started reading for fun, even then, it always seems like I always read for fun. So, question 8. Oh no, that was question 8. Question 9 says, where do you read? So I like to listen to audiobooks when I am in public, like shopping, and when I'm at my other job, because there's a lot of not mindless work, I would say, but there's a lot of repetitive work. So I don't need to put a lot of brain power into the work that I'm doing sometimes at my job. So while I'm doing that kind of work, I listen to audiobooks. When I'm at home, I read my physical books in my bed or in the living room because those have the comfiest chairs. So next is, I also like reading outside, by the way. I like reading outside when when the weather's really nice. So that's what I like too. Question 10 says, what kinds of books do you read? Mainly fiction. I really like fiction books. I'm trying to read more nonfiction books this year. But fiction is always my go-to. I think I'm leaning a lot more towards adventure fiction lately. I'm rereading the Montague siblings series right now, and they're just as good as, like when I read them the very first time. And I also seem to like things that are more, I don't know how to say, like maybe things that are plot driven that have good character development, because I mean, I think all of those make a good book. But yeah, books that have like a bit of trois characters, and also historical fiction. I also read a lot of, I'm trying this year to read a lot of classics, because I don't know if they're talked about this much. Western classics. So they're talked about a lot. So I want to try to read more Jane Austen books, like all of the Jane Austen books, and trying to read like those big ones, like Anna Karenina and things like that. I used to say that I'm not a classics person, but I realized that two of my favorite books are classics, The Outsiders and To Kill a Mockingbird. And I know that's kind of a, controversial like thought nowadays. I don't even say controversial, but like it's a thought that it's kind of iffy to some people. But I have had to read To Kill a Mockingbird quite a few times over the years, and I still really like it. Even after getting nuanced thoughts and opinions on it, I still really like it. It's still like one of my top three favorite books. So that and The Outsiders are two of my favorite books. So I guess I like classics as well, but I think that also goes with like historical fiction, things like that. Um, but yeah, those are those are some of the big types of books that I like to read. Um, and this was a very awkward video because I don't know how to talk in front of a camera. So, um, yeah, that was the Booktube Newbie Tag, and hopefully soon I will upload my um, books that I read in 2023. So yeah, look out for that. Okay, bye.